Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Greider. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. I'm honored to be connecting in with you. This is the first show of the new year. So happy new year to everybody. I hope that you are excited, that you're looking forward to all that 2022 will be bringing for you. I hope you're excited about a whole brand new year unfolding before you. And I'm honored to have this opportunity to start the new year with you, that we get to do so mindfully, purposely, being empowered to live and be and bring forward all that we're called to bring forward in 2022 and beyond. So welcome, everybody. Excited to be starting the new year with all of you. I hope that you had a safe and a happy holiday season, and that, again, you're feeling recharged and excited about the new year. And here's what I've discovered about life, and when we're looking at a brand new year, that you get to make choices. You get to choose how you're going to show up. We can't always choose what has happened to us, but we can choose our response. We can choose to move forward in a way that is meaningful to us. And when we do that, and we do that on purpose, it's incredible what can happen, and it creates a ripple effect. So the choices we make are really powerful. The choices you make on how to be, how to show up each day, each moment in the day, each minute adds up to the hour, which adds up to the hours of the day, that adds up to the week, the month, the year, and you start adding those together, and that becomes your future. So you're building your present and your future right now as we're speaking. So I hope that's exciting for you. And I hope it also gives you a moment to really pause and think about, what are you choosing to spend your time and your energy on being and doing? And is that truly in alignment with who you are and what you're wanting to bring forward in 2022? Because it matters. And we're here to walk alongside you, to support you, to pour into you. So you get to choose to be present. I want to encourage you to really release any of the to-dos right now. This is an opportunity for you to breathe, to be still, to be poured into, to be filled up, to overflowing. So as you go back out into the world, you're doing so from a place of being recharged and encouraged and empowered. So let's just take a moment and connect in, breathe in the exciting new year that's laying ahead of us. Out what no longer serves. This breathing in through the nose deeply, out through the mouth like through a straw, helps lower our cortisol levels. It helps bring us present so that we are ready to hear and receive. We actually have space to do so. And it helps us listen and hear what actually has been speaking to us. Sometimes it's a still small voice and we're going so quickly we don't always hear it. So it's an opportunity to slow down, listen, and receive. I invite you to close your eyes and put both hands on your heart, feeling the beat of your heart as you breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth like through a straw. And in this space, what is it that you need today to encourage you, empower you, uplift you? What do you need real time to support you on your journey? What do you need and are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice? Just receive that information. Sometimes it's a reminder or an image. Sometimes it's a sound or a memory or an insight. Beautiful. So let's receive that information and take a deep breath in through the nose. And then open up your eyes as you breathe out, becoming fully present. Welcome. Take a moment to write down anything that was laid on your heart. This helps you keep it top of mind and start co-creating it, bringing it into reality, bringing it forward. So I encourage you, take a moment to write down what was laid on your heart. And with that, we're going to go around our virtual room and connect in with our experts and see what was laid on their heart when they took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. So with that, Mackenzie, I'd love to hear what was laid on your heart.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful exercise, Rebecca. On my heart, what I saw as I was breathing deeply and just taking in the moment were like a fresh set of glasses, like a beautiful new set of lenses. And I feel it's essential as we step into 2022, to look at the lenses through which we are viewing our world. And we have a fresh opportunity in this new year, and the power to choose which lenses we put on and how we view our world. And I think that's very powerful.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. A new set of lenses to go with the new year and choosing how we look at things, how we view things. Powerful. I love it. Wonderful. And Abbey, how about you? Absolutely. What was laid on your heart?
Yeah, really. And again, thanks for that exercise. That really all we have is the present moment. And I read a quote the other day that kind of changed the way I view the moment. And it's by Wayne Dyer. And we don't ask how, but we just need to say yes. So I think the present moment is just saying yes to the moment and experiencing it. And that allows for us to feel the freedom and the deeper peace that we're all, and the connection that we're all seeking. Because really all we have is the now.
Yes. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love that. And not questioning the how and trying to figure it out, but just saying yes and staying present. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And listeners, how about you? What was laid on your heart when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen? What was laid on your heart, or a reminder or an image or additional information to really encourage and support you on your journey, perhaps awareness? And I encourage you to reflect on what Abbey and Mackenzie have shared about staying in the present moment, not worrying so much about the how, choosing a new set of glasses, a new set of lenses that you are using to view the world. See how that fits into what was laid on your heart. And with that, we're going to go to our first commercial break. I encourage you to use these 2 minutes for you as the beautiful commercials are playing in the background with information and updates for you. Choose to stay present, to really continue to listen to what's being laid on your heart, laid on your spirit. And we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes just for you, that you took that opportunity to really reflect on the year ahead as you're looking ahead and paying attention to how you're choosing to look at things, paying attention to not worrying so much about the how, but staying present and saying yes to those things that pull at you. Really excited to share our guests with you today. You got to meet them on a heart level in the opening segment, but these are both amazing women that are committed to really helping you live in an empowered, embodied, purposeful way. And so I thought, what an amazing way to start the year is have people come alongside us that are willing to lean in and pour into us. So I'm just thrilled to have them joining us today. Excited to do a more formal introduction of our first guest. Her name is Mackenzie Nelson. She is a new author, and her devotion to God and perseverance have allowed her to overcome a lifelong search for answers around paternity and her health struggles and healing. And rather than letting her family members tell her who she is, she has decided to author her own divinely inspired story. She has a bachelor's in business administration. She is a former high school all-state basketball player, and she is passionate about helping you be fully empowered on your inspired journey. Please lean in and warmly welcome the amazing Mackenzie Nelson to the show. Welcome!
Yay! Thank you so much, Rebecca. Wow. I feel so honored to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. We are thrilled to have you joining us today. I'm smiling from ear to ear. What a great way to start the year together. So I'm excited about
Yes.
that, and I appreciate you. Yeah, I appreciate you leaning in to support us in this conversation. And I wanted to start with why. Why is this work calls to your heart so deeply, and choosing to be an author and write and choosing to share your story and to walk alongside others to hopefully empower them on their journey? Why is that work personally so important to you?
That is a really great question, Rebecca. Just through the various lived life experiences that I've had, I've often felt alone in my journey. And I saw a space where I could be that person for someone else that I felt I didn't have going through my own journey. And combined with my faith and feeling a strong calling to step out in faith and trust where God was leading me one step at a time, I had put a plan in place, and it's gotten me to where I am today. And I care so much about every single person, and everyone has a very important purpose on this earth. And each person, I believe, has a destiny. And I want to encourage every single person out there to press in and lean in however you feel called to do so, to discover what that bigger purpose may be for each one of you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I can hear that truth and that conviction in what you're sharing, and that belief that we all, and I echo that we all have a destiny and a purpose, and to be willing to lean in. And this is just such a great time of year to check in
Yes.
and really look at look at these things. And as we're planning, as we're starting to fill our schedules, for those of you who are planners, really looking at, are those things that we're putting in place in alignment with who we are, and the things that we're feeling pull at our heart. And I'm curious, a lot of people make New Year's resolutions. I don't know if that's something you do or not. Is there any advice or suggestions you have around that as we're looking at our purpose and our destiny?
Yeah, definitely. I personally, I start by looking back through my previous year. I ask myself, what processes did I utilize to attain results in specific areas, and then assess how each has worked for me so far. And I think, whether we're aware of it or not, we are each using a process every time we go to accomplish a task. So we can refine and adjust the processes, according to the goal we're hoping to achieve one step at a time.
And I love that too, because then we're actually looking at what we did that worked well, and we're getting to do more of that. That
Yes.
sounds very positive to me. I like that.
Yes.
That we can harness
You can just,
that success.
Yes. I love it.
Oh, no, that's great. That's great. And did you have something you wanted to add?
So I actually just look back and take account of my life, and I try to see it, through an objective lens, by looking at my current relationships, my role as a wife and mother, for example, my dreams, my passions. And then I ask myself, what would I like to improve in these areas overall? And once I target those areas, I state specific goals, and I understand that, hey, maybe I wasn't doing things the best possible way. and then I go forward trying a new path.
Beautiful. I love that, but breaking it down into steps that can help you get there and choosing the areas that you want to make even better. I love it. Great. Great. And then,
Yes.
so in doing that and looking at this, um, how can we make, if we're wanting to make 2022 different or improve on things versus 2021, are there any additional things you would add to that process that you use of the looking back, kind of taking, a measure of where you're at right now and where you're wanting to go and kind of starting to build a pathway there, steps there? Anything you'd want to add to how we can make 2022 even more of what we want it to be if it looks different than 2021?
Right. I think that's a great question. I can really give you some examples of kind of how I've implemented that into my life. For example, when I first started to work on my life story, my book that's coming out at this point, late 2022 or 2023, I started by implementing a God-led process to write 3 pages a day. And I wrote nearly every day for 2 years. And prior to this, I had never written anything. So there were certainly days I did not feel like writing. And there are days when it was overwhelming and painful to put lived experiences to paper, but I wrote anyway. I had committed to the process. I had implemented all of it, and God gave me the strength and determination to keep writing, and I rarely deterred off course. And I guess the best advice I have is commit yourself to a process. And if you are a person of faith, ask God, what steps you can take to move forward. If you're not, whatever you do to press in, lean in, and listen, because I do believe that we are all capable of hearing that still small voice. And I heard the voice tell me to write 3 pages a day, and here I am about to have a book come out. So, anything is truly possible when you believe and when you follow this plan.
Beautiful. I love that. So taking time to really listen into that guidance and direction and honor the process. Just going back to what Abbey had said earlier too about saying yes, not worrying so much of how or where it's going or what it's accomplishing, but listening and doing and being consistent about that, being committed to the process. So I love it. So
Yes.
any final tips that you can share with us as we are looking at starting powerfully and purposely in 2022 and beyond, because each step leads to the next? Any final tips or suggestions or encouragement you would like to share with our listeners today?
Yes, that's a really good question. I think a lot of people, what I've noticed in my own journey is, how often we put these plans in place and we get sidetracked, and then you get frustrated and you just give up. I guess I feel I want to encourage anyone who has set a goal and who's been deterred that it's not necessarily always a bad thing in my experience. Maybe you wandered off the path for a reason, and now you can use this to identify a process that you personally have in place that isn't working for you. It's an opportunity, actually, to try a new approach. You can change your wandering aimlessly quickly to wondering how you could improve by exploring the new avenues and paths to get you to your ideal outcomes, but, simply by being open to new possibilities.
I love that. To me, that's circling back into your new lenses, example or idea that you shared with us, the insight earlier today that choosing how we're looking at that and looking at it as an opportunity versus something we get frustrated at or beat ourselves up about is, if we're wondering, what can I learn here? How can I improve this? What isn't working? What can be improved versus trying to force yourself back to whatever it was you were supposed to be doing.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
I
Yeah,
love that. That's great.
I love when you simply commit to putting those lenses on and you're determined and, you just are determined not to give up, then you're destined to explore those new paths. And, like you said with the lenses, when we adjust our perspective, when we wander off course, we can turn a perceived failure into a great opportunity if only we would dare to try. And that is what I want to encourage, you today, is just try a new path. Sometimes fear, if you push past it, you'll see it's an illusion and there was really nothing to it.
I love that. Dare to try a new path, really choosing our perspective, the lenses that we're on, being willing to try something new and move closer and closer into our destiny and purpose. I love it.
Thank you. It's something to get excited about, I believe, for the new year. It's never too late,
Absolutely. I love it because we have now, and then we can choose what we're writing, what we're bringing forward, how we're choosing to be moment to moment, day to day, month to month. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Mackenzie, for sharing today. I deeply appreciate it. Listeners, I hope you took some great notes. And here's an opportunity on our next commercial break to really think about your perspective, the lenses that you are wearing. And maybe you've gotten a little bit sidetracked or off the course you thought you were supposed to be on. And here's an opportunity to lean in, to get curious, to explore, and to try something new. So enjoy these 2 minutes, and we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just a moment. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to really sink into all of the wisdom and insight that Mackenzie shared with us, as well as you process that, what was bubbling up within you? What are maybe some new ways new lenses, ways that you are looking at things? Perhaps there's something new, a new path that is pulling at your heart that you're exploring, leaning into. So as we continue our conversation, really be present and enjoy and process and really take in all the information and insights that are supportive and empowering of you. We've built these commercial breaks in strategically and purposely to support you. So use them to be present, to process real time and integrate all that serves into who you are and how you are and what you're looking at bringing forward and how you're choosing to be in 2022 and beyond. Oh, welcome back. We're continuing our conversation about looking at the new year and how are we setting ourselves up powerfully and purposely to bring forward those things that matter most to us, to be mindful, to be purposeful, to be more of who we are called to be. And we have amazing experts today that are coming alongside us to support us as we're looking at the new year and all that is ahead. It's my honor to introduce our next amazing guest. Her name is Abbey. She is a registered yoga instructor, certified yoga therapist, attuned Reiki practitioner. She has been teaching for over 18 years. She won the Entrepreneur of the Year in 2015 from the SLC Women's Center for her first business, Sweat and Soul. She is currently the founder of Magic Breath and Meditation. She is currently writing a book to be released later this year and is passionate about mentoring women on their journey to embodiment and finding their purpose. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful and heart-centered Abbey to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here, Rebecca.
You are welcome. We're excited to have you joining us again and sharing with our amazing guests. It's just always a pleasure to have you on the show and really sharing your wisdom and your heart and your insights with us. So thank you for joining us today. And for those who don't know you yet, I wanted to ask and have you share why. Why is this work of helping women in particular on their journeys to embodiment and finding their purpose? Why is that work personally so important to you?
Because we have moved into such a speedy world where I feel like we're on this roller coaster every day and we're living through other people's lives and experiences rather than experiencing our own physicality and what's going on inside, because truly all the answers lie within our bodies. And we rarely go there. We look outside of ourselves for the answer, or we tend to go and live in the brain. And when we can finally ground down into our bodies and feel how sacred and magical they are, our whole lives actually change. And I just feel like the reason why is because I feel like we're all looking in the wrong places, and I want to help steer people to feel and hear into the right places.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And one of the terms that you started to describe, we were talking a little bit about, is embodiment. And that may be a new term for some of our listeners. Do you mind explaining what embodiment is and why that's important and can serve us?
Embodiment is living in our physical body. There's a few things that come along with that. There's our subtle body, which is our feeling body. We have our mental body, we have our emotional body, and it's not seeing as all these things as separate. And so truly living inside of our bodies versus living in our head, which directs us most of our lives. Or instead, I would say embodiment would be like relaxing down into our heart, relaxing down into our bellies where we feel a lot of anxiousness. And actually, embodiment would be the ultimate acceptance of our past, the present, and even the uncertainties of the future, just trusting and having faith and living in this place of softness and receptiveness.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that, because I do think many of us, I know I'm a planner, and I can frequently get caught up in my thoughts and my head and planning and this and that and strategy and all these things. I get all excited, especially at the beginning of the year. I'm like so excited, building, filling everything and planning. It's fun. I can spin a little bit in that space, but remembering to include all of me and to not leave my body behind, but actually that it's all connected is so important. So just for anyone out there that perhaps has that drive in that tendency, I don't know if it's a drive or a tendency, to get a little bit extreme in the planning area and strategy area. Those are some places I love playing. I know I really try to be mindful about breathing and being present and listening to the wisdom and information that my body is giving me, because it's not always something I tune into. So I'm curious, for someone that maybe has that tendency, if you have a tip or a piece of advice to help us become a little bit more embodied.
Okay, good question. Good. There's a lot of people out there who wake up every day and they have like an anxious feeling, or their fear. They feel that anxiety inside their body or inside their heart, where that's kind of like contracted. And so our first natural instinct would be like, I don't want to feel this. I want to push it away. I want to resist it. So it's like we're fighting it. So instead, when you're like laying in your bed in the morning and you're about to get out of bed and face the day, instead have an appreciation, gratitude always first, because that will always dismantle fear and anxiety. Appreciation that you feel you have this, and instead look at this thing that you don't want to feel as like a child. And you want to comfort it, and you want to give it compassion, and you want to ask it questions and say, okay, I want to inquire more. Why do you feel this way? And instead of running from it, you actually ask it questions, and it will give you really amazing information. And then within moments, actually, the feeling changes. It goes away.
Wow. So any anxiety or fear or contraction, as you shared, that tightening that we feel, but instead of resisting or running, leaning in with curiosity, compassion, and love can really shift that. And does this help us? Because one of the things I hear that can hold so many people back, or that we can struggle with, and one of the things I get asked about all the time is fear. How do you overcome fear? How do you keep moving forward if there is something that you're afraid of or you're scared. And I know that you have a recipe for conquering fear. So I was wondering if you would be willing to share some of that. I feel like we're starting that path already with where the conversation's going. So I'd love for you to help us even deeper around fear.
Yes. So I see fear as a different energy. Like it can be our friend. It's an ally with information. And one of my greater teachers, Wim Hof, he's called the Iceman. He's known for, he basically conquers fear by getting into cold water. And I started doing that when I had postpartum, and I saw fear, instead of it coming to us, when we sense fear, we go to it. So we actually meet up with it. So I personally do the ice bath. I'm not saying everyone should do it, but kind of see fear as our friend and not running from it. So meeting up with it first. I hope that makes sense. So I get into the cold bath every day, actually, or 15 minutes a week, and I see the cold water as fear. And then my nervous system learns to actually calm in ice cold water, and I talk to it. That's my strategy.
I love this. So when instead of waiting for fear to find you and trying to hide from it and let it chase you, meeting up with it and becoming friends with it and leaning in and becoming curious and having a conversation. So as you do that, and I know you use the ice baths as a way to facilitate that connection, that conversation, what happens as your nervous system calms down as you start to interact with fear?
Well, like Mackenzie said, it's like an illusion. It's really something we've created in our brains. And I always tell myself it's like 90% of what we worry about actually isn't going to come true. And so we kind of see it as this, it's more of like the ego, and it's trying to protect us. So that's what I find is like when I tell the fear, I've got this. You don't need to protect me. I kind of see it as my inner child that's scared. And then the fear steps out of the way, and then that helps me to move on to the next hard thing. It's really just about being present with fear, because we've made it this huge thing that it really doesn't have to be.
I've heard that it's an emotion, just like we have other emotions, but it's not a reason not to do something. It's not a reason to run. It's an emotion, an information that we can lean into and understand. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I know that go ahead. I'm sorry. Say it again.
Sorry. No, I was just saying fear can be excitement of new things to come, new chapters, change that can be exciting.
I love that. So fear can actually be a positive, exciting thing, not a scary, negative thing, but actually something that we can be excited about what is to come. Love it. Love it. And I know that a lot of the work that you do ties into breath work as well, and that breath work can help us find our purpose. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about that. How does breath work help us to step into, to find, to discover our purpose?
Wow. Breath work, in my opinion, it is life. Without our breath, we wouldn't be here. But it is our superpower. I found breath work 2.5 years ago after just basically doing yoga physically, but instead decided to go down this breath work path and practice it. And I did it 180 days straight. And I did my own strategy behind how I would stay consistent, like Mackenzie did with her writing. And I found that the breath literally got me into the seat of my body. So instead of thinking waking up, I woke down, and I found sensations in my body that I numbed for so many years, actually as a marathon runner, that instead of being in my body as a marathon runner, I was actually running from my body. You can numb your body. You can spiritually bypass through meditation and breathing, but instead using the breath work to feel your body. And when you feel your body, when you open up and you talk to the cells and you live in your body, that's when all of this beautiful information comes up. It's when you find your purpose. Beautiful.
I love that. I'm just giving us a moment to take that in. And I think that's such a beautiful, I loved how you said that, how when you wake up, you woke down, felt down
Wolf
into your
down.
body.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's a really neat example and a way to think about it a little bit differently. So I love that, and how it can allow us to really feel and discover information we've numbed out or tuned out, and really step into our purpose as we discover that. Beautiful. Well, as you're reflecting back on our conversation today, is there any final thought that you would like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I feel like if you take the word ground, and if you want to write this down, it's an acronym, ways of dismantling fear, anxiety, or any struggle, or you can go through these steps, and G represents ground, R represents relax, so you relax your body. O represents open after that. U represents untangle, so going to what feels tingly, it's creating this feeling where you're like freezing in time. You untangle that by having compassion for it. The next N is nurture. And then after that, the D is dissolve. So if you write down, then you go through those steps, that's going to really help you. And it is actually a little bit of a meditation.
I think that's so powerful. I wrote that down as you were sharing. Ground, relax, open, untangle, nurture, dissolve. There's a beautiful energy to it as I just reading it like that. So thank you for that beautiful tip and insight and process that we can start to use in our life. So thank you for sharing that. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about all that Abbey has shared and really take a moment to ground, relax, open, untangle, nurture, and dissolve. We'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to practice the ground process and really see what that looks like and feels like. I was doing that myself and had my mic muted for a moment as I was doing that. So apologize for the little gap there. But I hope that you found it powerful to really be still and listen and maybe dismantle a little bit of that fear or that tightness that we can feel. And sometimes that will keep us, hold us back versus allowing us to see it as an opportunity, choosing the lens to lean in and discover the powerful information that's there for us, and then be able to move forward. So I hope that today you have gotten some great tips and insights to support you to live powerfully and purposely, mindfully, as you are stepping forward in this brand new year. I'm excited for you. I'm honored to be on this journey with you. And I want to encourage you to take a couple of minutes at the end of the show, before you rush back out into the world, to really process everything that is here for you. Take a few minutes for you to breathe, receive, release, and really choose how you want to step forward today, this moment, as you move back out into the world. And to support you in that, I wanted to let you know the best ways to connect in with our guests, because we're serious about walking beside you and supporting you on your journey. And I want you to be able to connect with our experts, those who you resonate with and you want to go deeper, you want to follow them or connect in with them. I want you to know how to do that so that you're able to get that support on your journey. And part of the support that we can lend you as well, you'll find on our website at drivenpractice.com. We usually share about that in the commercial breaks or in the opening and close, but I want you to know that we are here walking beside you as well. So you can go to yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. You'll find all kinds of resources as well as a way to set up a time to talk and connect with me as well. With that, Mackenzie, I would love for you to share what is the best way for people to connect in with you.
Well, thanks, Rebecca. For me, they want to connect with me, they can go to my website, which is www.mackenzieknelson.com. I also have www.myfathersfeathers.com, so there's a couple different ways. Also, I have an option on my page where you can contact me and we can speak for free for 30 minutes about whatever you'd like, anything I can help you with. I'm just looking to support others going along their journey.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing with us and making yourself available in that way. Very generous. And with that, do you have a final thought or wish for 2022 wish, New Year's wish for our listeners today?
I do. I really believe and feel that, this is a year where each of you out there will see a lot of your dreams come to fruition. And fruition is really the point at which a plan or a project is realized. And I think so many like myself have been laying groundwork, have been working so hard towards their dreams, and maybe they've gotten off track or they feel defeated. And I just want to encourage you to keep going and keep pursuing your dreams, because I really, really, my wish for you is that in 2022, you will see the things come to fruition that you have worked, and you'll be ignited with fresh flames of hope as you walk into the new year.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mackenzie. I so appreciate it.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Then Abbey,
it's been an honor.
Absolutely. And Abbey, I would love for you to share what is the best way for people to connect in with you.
Thank you. I have a website, just my name, abbeydaw.com, and my name's spelled with an E, like the Beatles album, Abbey Road. And then you can contact me on Instagram. It's just at abbeydaw as well. And I'm like Mackenzie. I also have, you can do a consult with me for a free 30-minute session as well. I feel similar to her. I just want to support people in their purpose.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And then do you have a final thought or a wish for our listeners for 2022 and beyond?
Yes, I feel like we just all need to slow down and trust and relax more and not feed our nervous system so much unnecessary tension when we can just literally live for the moment and have gratitude, like wake up every day and write down your 5 gratitudes. And if you do that, you will see your whole life start to change if you can start your day in gratitude and spend more time off of your screens and just also follow your dreams and don't give up. Like, I do want to piggyback on what Mackenzie said, like, just don't give up, because we're not going to get anywhere worth it without a little bit of failure. So just get back up and know you're being led.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Listeners, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. And listeners, I hope that you've heard their heart and their spirit to support you and cheer you on. I know I felt a quickening in my spirit and a raising of my energy and vibration as I heard the encouragement and the wishes and the cheering us on that Abbey and Mackenzie have given us today. And I want to encourage you as well and know that you are here on purpose and for a purpose. You are absolutely needed in the world, especially for such a time as this. So be willing to get up again. Be willing to press on. Be willing to take those new paths to lead you to where you are called to go. Listen to that pulling. Listen to that calling and know that each step you take matters and it makes a difference, heart by heart, life by life. And one of the biggest things you can give the world is being on purpose and being willing to share a little bit more of who you are. Your gifts, your talents, the way you're made, your perspective, your way of being is a gift to the world. So wherever you go, whatever you do, I hope you choose to bloom where you are planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.